jumping off of coach, one great coach to another great coach, and Dick LeBeau. He joined the great organization that you, as we all have an opportunity to play for in '92. How did he change the organization for the better?
Man, Dick's the dude. Dick's the GOAT.
Hey, we just had him on our last episode. He had some real good things to say about you, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah. Dick, man, I love Dick LeBeau, man. Love him to death. Dick played at a high level.
Yes, he did.
He got 61, 62 picks.
62.
62 at the corner spot. The one thing I loved about Dick, he knew what it was like to be when he crossed that white line. He knew what it felt like. And his system just let athletes play. I mean, he just like, go play. And one thing I loved about Dick, probably more than anything, is he lets you be you inside of his own system. As long as you don't go too rogue and too cowboy on him, too far out there, he's going to let you be you inside the system.
Yeah.
But that system is so fun to play in. And he's so cool and so laid back where he can sing, cite poetry. I mean, what he did what he did on Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah.
His tenure as
the night before Christmas. Yeah.
Dude, that I remember the first time he did that, right? And we sitting down there. We're sitting there. We're like, hey, Coach LeBeau's gonna come up. He's gonna recite the night before Christmas. Man, me and Carnell Lake and Greg Lowe were like, hey, no, wait. How you gonna recite a whole book? And man, sure enough, bro, he said the whole thing with, I mean, sound effects and everything. I mean, one of the best things I've ever seen any coach ever do. But Dick LeBeau, that dude just changed. He changed my mindset. Well, first, a guy named Rod Russ really helped me. So after Tony left, Rod Russ came in and kind of said the same thing. So that was Chuck's last 2 years, and he's the one that really challenged me to be a man and learn the game more mental than physical. And so it was me and Rod Russ in his meeting, in his office space in the off season. And the first question he asked me was, how many formations can offense get into? And I was like, oh, shoot, 750. He was like, how many eligible receivers? And I was like, 5. He said, they ain't getting 5 formations. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, they get in pro. Back then they got in slot. I mean, they still get in slot. They still get in triples, but they get in slot. One back, they get in 2x2 or 3x1, and then go empty. He said, but what they do, they would put you in different personnel groupings, move these different pieces around, find a formation, and they're going to run so many plays out of that. And I was like, oh, you got to be freaking kidding me. So we had all those guys. And then after that, Dick comes in, and Dick just lets me be me. Because I jumped out of my stance in press. And most of the coaches try to get me to correct that. And Dick was like,
what do you mean when you jump, you widen your base?
Yeah. So I had a narrow base, and to move my feet to get going, I jumped them out about 6 inches. So it gave me a little wider base where I can go either way. And it was just a natural thing I did because I didn't play corner throughout my life. I played safety my whole life. And then last year Purdue, I played corner and little safety. And then I ran my 40 at the combine. They said, you're going to play corner.
What was that 40 time, Rob, by the way?
That was a 4.28.
Were you disappointed? Were you disappointed at that 4.28 or that was right?
No, I mean, to be honest, to tell that story, that was back in '87. I didn't know they had a combine. So, I'm down at Purdue running track, and they said, hey, Rod, the NFL combine is up the street. They do an NFL combine in Indy. And I'm like, and they said it's going to be like in two or 3 weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm already running. So all I did, I got in my car, I drove up. It wasn't a week like it is today. I mean, back then it was like 2 days. I went up, did my offensive thing, got on the field, ran, got back, went back to school. I was back in class in 2 days. So it was completely different. Completely different than before.
That was a little round trip there.
No question. But hey, that's a unique, because most guys are taught to be narrow, but you talk about you widen your base. Now for you, you had opportunity to do that because you were so fast. Also,
Yeah,
that's another thing.
And he allowed me to be me, right? So he instead of him saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do that," he was like, "Well, you can get out of it." And that's when I started realizing everybody's a little bit different. And the coaches who kind of played the game before and played the position before know that. You know, like, you know, I looked at Nnamdi Asomugha. Nnamdi would have a wide base.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did this dude get out the, like he could, like I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out that wide base, but Nnamdi did it and he got out of it.
He got
and
out
I just
of it.
remember one thing that Dick would say all the time is he'll let you do it if you can.
And if it's working,
if you can, he'll let you do it.
Yeah.
And I remember fast forwarding years later, Troy comes in and Troy, he's letting Troy do all this stuff and be himself inside of the system. And I called him, I said, "Coach, why are you letting Troy do all that stuff?" He's like, "Because he can." Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, man.
But that's what he was, man. I mean, Dick is the salt of the earth, man. He is one of the best human beings.
Yes, I echo all
I've ever
of
met
that.
in my lifetime.
No question, no question. We had Coach LeBourne, like I said, man, he had some real good things to say about you and talk about your athleticism. So man, Coach LeBeau still thinks highly of you, like you think of him. So we all echo the same thing. I wish Pat P had opportunity to play with Coach LeBeau because man, he take your football knowledge to another level.
Pat P.
Oh, no question, no question.